Hello, hello. So I thought I'd just pop on, do a live and see who was about and chat for a bit. I've just been doing a few little kind of short videos, rather than long videos. I think I'm probably going to start doing some shorter videos because I've done a lot of long videos over the years, and you get to a point where you just kind of like run out of ideas a little bit. You kind of like dry up. So I thought I'd do a little bit of content for kind of like shorter, quicker videos, because most people as well, they don't have the attention span, and especially with the stuff that I talk about, and the meditations and things that I do on here. It's a lot about being with yourself for quite some time, and not everybody likes that. It's a shame, that people don't like to sit in their own company. They don't like to sit with themselves. They find it a little bit uncomfortable at times, and it's a great teacher. Sitting with yourself and listening to yourself is a great way to learn about you, learn about the things that maybe that you need to work on, things that you need to be aware of. Really is a really powerful teacher. But each to their own. I know when I first started doing meditation and getting into meditation, it feels unnatural. It does. It feels really unnatural. And but it's something you just kind of like get used to. You get used to it and you think, this is it's actually helping me on some level. So you keep going with it. And after maybe a couple of weeks, you start to feel the benefit of doing some meditation. You really do. You feel the benefit for it. So then you start making it part of your everyday practice. You keep going with it. You try to maintain that and build a healthy meditation practice. Can you add me on Fortnite? No, I don't play it. Amanda Flowers, hello. Edward John, hello. Go back to bed? No, it's the middle of the day. It's 1:30. Shouldn't be in bed at this time of day. So yeah, so that's what I kind of found with meditation, is you just have to keep going with it. Keep practicing. That's why they call it a meditation practice. It's like anything. If you want to improve at something, you practice, you keep going. You don't give in at the first hurdle because it feels uncomfortable. It's a little bit like, I suppose, like riding a bike. You fall off, you get back on. You fall off, you get back on. You learn. It's the same with that. It's the same with meditation. It's the same with anything. It doesn't matter how many times you fall off, you just keep going. Keep going and you will get there. And you will find the benefit of it. And I did for all of those years of building a meditation practice to support my own mental health. It was, but like I said earlier, it feels unnatural to just sit with yourself, and it feels uncomfortable. Like I said, a lot of people don't want that. They don't want to sit with themselves. They don't want to learn about themselves. They don't want to culture or nurture their own energy. And that's fine. It's not for everybody. I'm not saying it is for everybody, but I think everybody should do it. I think if everybody meditated in the world would be such a different place. It really would. And everyone's got their own views and everyone's got their own opinions, but I know how amazingly powerful and beneficial it's been for me. But we all find our own way in the end of getting there. What was your religion before Hinduism? I'm not Hindu. I don't follow any religion. I have more Buddhist beliefs than anything. but that's more to do with the practice of Reiki, and the Buddhist principles that come within the system of Reiki. But yeah, I don't follow a religion. I get asked that a lot, when I think people see the third eye symbol on the door behind me and think, oh, you must follow Hinduism or he practices Hinduism. But no, I bought it because I liked it, and obviously when you start learning about Reiki and energy and whatever, you start learning about a little bit about the chakras and the energy body and things about like yoga and Hinduism, and it all kind of like crosses over. So yeah, that's why I kind of like got into it a little bit. So yeah, so I'm just on as normal, doing a little bit of art, doing a bit of painting, and thought I'd just pop on a live and see who's about, see who wants to chat, see who comes across the channel. If you're new here, do subscribe. If any of the content interests you, then check the channel out. Go and check out my playlists and all the different stuff. If it doesn't interest you, then that's also fine. What I do isn't for everything. What kind of painting are you on? I'm currently doing this. I'm currently doing this rose. So I just subscribed. You're welcome. Thank you very much. Senna Draws. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Do you play Roblox? No, I don't. Is that a game of some description? I don't know. Occasionally, I'm not really. I used to be a bit of a gamer, but I'm not really much. I don't really game much now, but I used to years ago. Back in the day when I had like a PS2 or a PS3, I do a little bit of gaming, but not much now. I find them quite draining, to be fair. I find them a bit like they kind of sap your energy a little bit. So yeah, so I don't do as much now. You are using oil-based paint, so I'm using acrylics. Yeah, I'm using acrylics. I prefer acrylics. I have used oil before in the past, but I prefer using acrylics these days. I know I was speaking to someone the other day about it, and they were saying, well, they like acrylics, but they said that the acrylics dry too fast. But I think you can add oil to acrylics so that they don't dry as quick. But I just use water just to thin them down if I need to. But I have seen videos before where they've added like an oil or something to the paint. I don't really know what it is, to be fair, what they do add to it. But it looks like some sort of oil or like a maybe like a silicone or something like that. I'm not sure. So I'm guessing, are you into art as well? Name, surname 5613. Do you like painting? What is third eye? Third eye is your pineal gland in your brain. It's your third eye chakra. It's used for visualization and spiritual things. Also, obviously, because it's your pineal gland, it plays a big part in like hormone regulation and things like that, a little bit like a pituitary gland. But yeah, that's what a lot of people talk about when they talk about the third eye, is the spiritual aspect of it. So it's to do with like your visualization, dreams, clairvoyance, intuition, psychic abilities, telepathy, that sort of stuff. I'm not into art, but I appreciate painting because I can't paint. I don't understand the concept of gradation. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean gradation? Oh, like color, right? Color depth and lighting. So like, I'm getting the change in grades of shades and whatever. Yeah. So someone was on one of my lives a while back, and they were talking about how I was working, and now because I was working because the canvas was pre-primed, so it was already black. So I was working from black to light. And they said it was quite an interesting way that I was working, because normally they would work light to dark, which is understandable because obviously darker colours are more opaque, whereas your lighter colours are more translucent. So that would make more sense. But I tend to always pretty much always put like a dark background down first, and then I will bring it forward, and I would try to make it contrast a little bit with the colour that I've put down. So say if it's a blue, I would use opposing colours, so it might be an orange, so it would stand out more, or what, that sort of concept. But yeah, that's kind of like how I work, and I've always seemed to have worked like that, where I put like a dark background down and then work on the light, or I will highlight the light areas and then bring them down to the darker, so they blend in with the back a little bit. But it's just doing it a little bit at a time and not overdoing it, and just working in the layers. So I always work in the layers as well. So I try to put the background down first, and I will gradually work forwards as I'm painting. So the background is always, when you look at it, it's always at the background. It doesn't come forward. And that's kind of like, if you're doing a landscape, that's how you would normally work as well. You would always put like your sky and your background down the horizon, and then gradually do your middle ground, and then you would do your foreground. So it gives that impression of distance. So that's how you would do that. Sometimes I do cock up and I have to add bits in the background, even though I've already done the forward and the foreground. But that's just like kind of human error on the occasional occurrence. But that's fine as well, because we're human, we're allowed to have errors. And sometimes it's a bit of a, you have like a happy accident where something goes wrong, but it works well. It works well in your favour. It works well in the piece, and that level of depth and perception starts to actually play a part. And a lot of the time, it's only you that really notices the actual the actual mistake that you've made. Nobody else really. Nobody really knows about it. Gradation needs much more colour selection. Do you mix your paint frequently? It depends really. I try not to. I try to stick with sort of fairly similar colours. But like on this piece, obviously I have with this, because of the shading of the rows of the petals and trying to create the depth in the flower. So I have with this, but I haven't mixed the colours. I've kind of like let them mix themselves on the canvas, and just with the brush allowed the canvas to take as much as it needs to create that shading effect between the petals. And so I haven't had to do that much work to it. But because of acrylics being the way that they are, you can kind of like, you can get away with that because they're quite thick. Whereas if it was a thin paint, you would have a lot more difficulty with that. If it was like more water-based, like a watercolor or maybe like a gouache, then it tends to be a little bit more tricky to get out of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't mix a lot of colours. But I know what you mean by that, with trying to get the colours right, and shading and what have you. Plus, because of the consistency of the paint as well, with it being quite a, like I said earlier, quite a thick paint. You can start off quite thick and then gradually water it down and thin it down. And because I'm using dark colours at the background, the lighter colours that go on top, they create the gradation anyway. So they create the light and shade that I need. So like I'm putting these little highlights on the leaves, but the leaves are already quite dark. I've built the leaves up, so I've gone from like a brown to a bit of a green, to a lighter green, to then these sort of white spots on, but the white will blend in with the green eventually, and it'll become more like a light green rather than a white. Yeah, so yeah, the water-based paints, they are good in a way. Like the acrylics, these are water-based, but I prefer them quite thick, because I like the vibrancy of the colour. Whereas I find watercolours tend to get a bit wishy-washy, and also once it's down, you can't really, if you've cocked it up, if you've made a mistake, it's really difficult to edit it and rectify it. You can kind of like, you can sponge it and you can soak it up as much as you can, but usually there's going to be something left there, and then when you try to paint over it, it gets a little bit muddy. So beautiful painting, thank you. Krishna, painting with Yuvraj. Welcome. Hello. So yeah, so I'm just kind of like, because I've been on with this now for quite a few days, I'm just looking at the points I can try and put the highlights in. If you paint over water-based, the colour are going to be mixed. Yeah, they will. That's what I mean. That they'll mix, but a lot of the time they go a bit. What I found is they go a bit muddy. They're not very clear, the colours. So that's why I don't really use watercolours that much anymore. I did at college quite a lot. We used watercolours quite a lot there. In fact, we use more We used more gouache actually at college because it was more like a design. It was more to do with design, art and design. And gouache is a little bit like watercolours, but slightly thicker consistency, and the colours are a little bit more vibrant. And then I sort of like got into using acrylics as well. But cheaper than oil-based. Yeah, the oils do tend to be quite pricey, depending on where you go. But yeah, they do tend to be quite pricey. And again, the acrylics are slightly cheaper than oils as well. So another good thing about acrylics is they're not as much as the oils, but they have. I just feel that they have more benefit than oil because they do dry quicker, and I find them a little bit easier to use. But yeah, each to their own, really. There is no right or wrong. It's whatever works for the individual. Oh, hello, Alex. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's life going? How's the travels? How's the sorting out and the organisation? Yeah, you can mix the acrylics with oil. I'm not sure which oil it is that you use. But yeah, you can mix them with oil if you wanted to, and it gives them a bit more of an oily consistency, really. So you've burnt some scrap wood from the old wood shop and ridding things and slowly learn not to limit yourself. Very good. Good to hear that you're still going strong with it then. Still sorting things out, still unpacking and clearing. And are you feeling the benefit of it as well? Are you feeling kind of like the weight lifted from getting rid of some of the stuff? Nice talking to you as well. Thank you for being here. Take care and hopefully see you again soon. I feel like it could take a year, but you do feel a lightening of the burden. That's good. It's quite weird, isn't it, how it happens? It's interesting how, as you start to sort of remove things physically or whatever it can be, emotionally, mentally, whatever it is, but as soon as you start to shift it, especially in the physical sense, you do feel you do feel that lightness. It's like your body kind of holds tension and like subconsciously knows that you're holding on to all this stuff, this metaphorical stuff sometimes that can have a deeper meaning to something else. But you get shot of it and you're like, you do feel lighter for it, you do feel better for it, yeah. It's weird how it happens. But again, I mean, it's all to do with energy. It's all to do with however much stuff we're holding on to. The stuff that we are holding on to has an energetic signature, and some of it could be from memories or times that have passed that you don't need to have that connection to anymore. So neurologically and all the stuff that's going on, it's having that nice shift effect where you do feel the release. You found some metaphorical stuff too, but trying to focus on the physical. Yeah, you'll find it'll overlap. You'll find a lot of stuff will come up from that as you're doing this sort of shifting and clearing out. You will find that there is stuff that will come up on a more, like you say, a more metaphorical sense, and probably metaphysical as well. Yeah, feel free to send a link over. I'll check it out. Is it on YouTube or Instagram or where's it at? Because yeah, I'll check it out and I'll certainly follow. I'm just popping the highlights on the leaves, on the rose. That's what I'm on with currently. She might teach me how to paint. I heard the calling a year or two ago. I thought you already did. I thought you already did paint. Or did you say that you tried it but couldn't quite kind of get away with it? But yeah, give it a go. I'm sure you'd do some fab pieces, I'm sure. I'm currently going to try and do a bit of sort of the impressions of wood grain behind the rose bush. So that's what I'm going to try and do with a couple of these planks. It's a separate page. It has categories. All right, cool. Yeah, send it over and I'll check it out. your music and your writing are your main focus currently. But yeah, just keep going with it, keep doing with it. Keep doing what feels right for you, brother. Our guy. Bye bye, our guy. Yo, what's up? I'm a sketch artist going around some lives and seeing if they have any ideas on what I should draw. Well, I'm just currently on with this at the minute. And I've done a few paintings of these, like it's like a rose, obviously. Well, hopefully you can tell it's a rose. And I've done a few of these recently, and I'm not really much of a flower artist, but I've really enjoyed doing them and getting the challenge from doing them. Because it's kind of like a little bit out of my comfort zone. So it's been good. I'm in the UK, I'm in England. What about you? Where are you from? You get a lot of people that come on here that just like that other guy before, like, shut up. You're like, why? Why come on a live and say things like that? You just think, just get a fucking life. Some people are they're just so full of ego that they just think they have to say something just to try and create. You're just like, nah. Philippines, welcome Philippines. I've been doing some drawing fruits and exotic plants. Wow, nice. Is that sketch or like colouring as well, like coloured pencils, or is it just totally sketch work? You're right, Alex, there's no growth in the comfort zone. You're absolutely right. You gotta push past your boundaries a little bit of time. Ideally, I should have really done these first. I was just talking about this earlier, how you do your background first. Because someone was asking about depth and perception and what have you. Just sketch, no colouring. Well, good on you, because I find sketching extremely challenging at times. Some things I'm okay with, and then other things, like I'll see some people that sketch, like a sketch artist, and you're like, wow, it just blows you away, some of the stuff people can do with pencils. I see a lot of videos on TikTok as well of artists that do like these huge pieces, like pieces as big as like them, stood there, and you think, wow, the perspective and everything, and the size, and just crazily good. Yes, some people really excel at certain types of art. I think some people excel at one type, or some different types, and other people excel at others, and and then other people, it's not like kind of art isn't part of their thing, but they excel at other things. They have other benefits, other advantages, other rare abilities and gifts to share with the world. And I think as long as you're not causing any harm to anybody, then, and you're bringing a little bit of joy and light into the world, then I think just keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. And don't care what people say, what people think. Just do what feels right. Follow your passion. Follow your soul, follow your heart. I'm just starting off with small sketches, then going into medium in a little bit. Yeah, I mean, where's my last sketch I did is just down here. Let me show you. That's my last sketch that I did. I don't know if you can see. But it's not quite finished yet. I've still got stuff to do to it. Well, I get a bit bored. I get a bit bored with sketching. The talent at birth is just a large seed they still have to water and nurture. I agree with that. Brother, I'm listening. Welcome, brother. Sometimes it feels wrong to follow a passion like you've pedestal, like you don't deserve that excitement. I'm slowly learning. Yeah, I think passion is just a part of you. It's a part of, when it comes to creativity, it's a part of you. It's a part of something that you need to just keep going with on some level. And like you mentioned earlier, yeah, you have to nurture it. It will always be there. It will always be there as a part of you. But you do need to nurture it. You do need to water it, like you say, and let it grow, let it build and develop, and turn into something, the beautiful thing that it is and what you are as well, because it's a part of you. Lately I'm finding what scares me and trying to run toward. Lately I'm finding what scares me and trying to run towards it for the most part. Draw my face. I would if I could see it. Actually, ask where have you gone? Valkyrie. Ask Valkyrie. That might be a good project for you to do, because that's something that is extremely difficult to sketch, is faces. Faces are very, very hard to get right. I find them extremely difficult. Especially getting like the shading and the shape, the noses, the features, getting all that sort of stuff right is extremely difficult. I sketched the face of somebody who means a lot to me lately in life, and I was surprised how it turned out. There you go. Dan, hello. Oh, Davis, that's a bit close to the bone. Valkyrie, yeah. But I've actually had a lot of practice with drawing faces and people, which has just become something I always draw. All right, okay. So you're looking for something a little bit different to kind of challenge you a little bit and take you out of that comfort zone, which is what we were talking about before as well, a little bit. Feeling a little bit challenged, something different, something new. It's good to mix it up. Definitely good to mix it up. Good morning, airheads. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for dropping some comments in as well to see how I'm doing, airheads. It was very kind of you. So challenging yourself to draw realism and more detailed sketches. Well, the exotic plants and the fruits is a really good thing. Still life, a lot of still life stuff is really good. Just setting up like a little display for yourself and just drawing them pots and pans and trying to shine some light on it, so you've got like the infractions of light that you have to try and work out with, where you can like light and shade and all that sort of stuff. It would be good. I love impressionism, I think they call it, where you see the minimum ingredients to get the point across. Yeah, the impressionism. Shh. That's how some of my sort of pieces they start out that way, a bit more kind of like impressionistic, and then they become a little bit more like detailed as time goes on. Wonder how that's going to dry. I might have to put some dark on it. So what's everybody else's day looking like? I know Alex has been clearing out and busying himself. What's everybody else been up to? Airheads, what have you been up to? What you been doing? Not seen you on a live for a while, so need to check in with yous. Make sure you're all okay. See, I do care about my loyal viewers. This is going to be a bit tricky. We're working on a memorial piece for a customer's mother who had passed earlier this week. They're never fun to do, but I am honoured. I tried to channel the deceased while working on oh, that's really sweet. That's really kind. That's really lovely. Alex is processing highs and lows. As we do, you know, we're all in the same mix of this stuff that's going on, all this soup, different things that we're dealing with in life, in each day. Sometimes it makes you wonder how much of the stuff that we do process, how much of is it like of ours that we're dealing with, how much of it is like the collective energy of the earth and the global stuff that's going on, and then of the people that are around us as well. I mean, I was in a supermarket this morning. I mean, my mother wanted to go to this supermarket in a small, like this little town nearby. So we went in there, and it was like anarchy. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm glad I don't go into this supermarket. But you could it's like the energy. There was so much tension in the air. It was weird, really weird. I'm glad I don't, like when I go shopping, I tend to go really early, so I'm not having to face with loads and loads of people, because I just find it really overwhelming and just too much to kind of like deal with. You just feel exhausted from all these other people's energies that they're carrying around and all the stuff that they're not processing and dealing with. Does anybody else get that? Does anybody else feel that as well when you're going somewhere like really busy and you can just feel all that like tension and all other people's energies just whooshing around the place? Do you smoke joints? No. I have done in the past, but I don't anymore. Seems so peaceful. Well, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like the peace. You know, taking the vibes while you're here, taking all that lovely peaceful vibes. We need more of that. You know, we need more of that into our everyday lives. We need more peace. We need more compassion and togetherness and familiarity and love and kindness. As a goofy looking white boy myself, I can relate. Hate is far too common. It certainly can be. Yeah. You sometimes question, like, the direction people take, the decisions people make, and a lot of people, that they will spout off on social media about all these nasty things that might have happened or whatever, but, I wonder what they're really like in everyday life. I wonder if they're actually upholding what they truly feel or believe in, or are they just doing just as much spreading of that energy. Peace is an amazing thing, more synonymous with love than it is with quiet for me. Yeah, well, I think that's what it really is. It's just having being at peace with the world and with yourself is an act of love. Because you only find peace in love, and love will only exist when there is peace. So it's kind of like it bounces off each other. I think what I mean is that I felt inner peace without a turmoil before, and also felt inner turmoil with outer peace. Well, that's the whole yin yang thing, isn't it? It's having the balance of the two, having the balance of two things working side by side together. That's the tricky part, is getting the balance right. Especially when there's so much stuff going on in the world that is quite quick to trigger a lot of people into making the easy response, to make the egoic response and cause disruption and hate and all that sort of stuff. It's like, when you've worked in customer service and what have you over the years, you find that it's much easier for people to complain than to give positive feedback, and that's the same with that aspect of things. It's much easier for people to go to the negative than be on the positive. Do you believe we have a higher Father than? I believe we have a higher power, or a God, or the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever you deem is your. You can have your own belief, but I do believe that there is a higher power beyond our own consciousness of this physical realm, but also of what we are connected to, and we are a part of it. So we're not separate from it either. It is very calming, highly grounding to watch your streams, highly recommended. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Airheads. That's very kind of you to say. I'm pleased that it brings a little bit of balance into people's lives. Like, we respect Earth as our mother, but what about the sun as our higher father? Yeah, well, it depends on the aspect of, because a lot of people say that the moon is like the feminine energy and the sun is your masculine energy. Yeah, so it just depends on your kind of where you stand in your beliefs, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, Mother Earth, Gaia, nature. I mean, we give it an identity, a sex, but there isn't an identity or a sex. It just is. Again, because it's part of the universe. It's part of God. And God doesn't have a sex. Although religions try to give God an identity, but God is an energy. It's quite easy to try and sort of name and give things a, I suppose, like an identity or a being, because we're so used to that. Where are we up to? Let's have a look. It's a very strange interconnected energy. I think we're all talking about the same energy. It's weird that we don't get along at this aspect. I'm part of the Division 2. I know the moon just kind of borrows its shine from the sun, but it's a lot prettier to look at. Milk, remember, it seems to be a push and pull. Good thing the universe is elastic. I see the moon as the child. The sun gives us our male hormones, and the gravity of Mother Earth supports our female hormones. Like I said, everything is in duality. Yeah. When you start to get comfortable with the mystery, you reach a new acceptance, I think. It's kind of like it's a new level, like you say, acceptance or surrender is another word that I use quite a lot here. You get a new level of surrender, of it just is. And there is no kind of identification. But yeah, I think that's one of the ways that we often work, isn't it? We like to sort of like pigeonhole things so we know where something is. And that's a little bit like kind of like on the religious aspect of things, is like to put it in a box, to say, right, well, that's that, we'll keep that over there, and that's that, we'll keep that there, and that's that, and we'll keep that in the middle, where in actual fact, we're all of it, and it's all an aspect of us, because the universe and the atoms and everything that drives the universe is an aspect of us, and we're part of it. And if the sun was, a foot closer if the Earth was a foot closer to the sun or a foot further away, we would either boil or we would freeze. So where we are intrinsically is perfect. It's perfect alignment, and that's where we need to find perfect alignment within the self, to then be an aspect of that interconnectedness of the universe, of source, of spirit, of God, and that's where I kind of understand and what I feel. People tend to jump to negativity out of fear, and fear always leads to hate. Hate leads to the dark side. Metro Yoda, yeah. Well, it's the ego. Ego is fear-based, so that's where it all comes from, fear. It's the ego. So as soon as you bring fear up, if you, like problem, reaction, solution that we see around the world all the time, the problem evokes fear. The fear then needs to evoke the reaction, which is the fear, which is like, oh my God, this could happen. And then all of a sudden, ta-da, here's the solution. It's all scripted. It's all been engineered. So, yeah. The sooner we let go of the fear and stop identifying with the fear and letting the ego take over, the sooner it all collapses and the new earth begins. The new earth is already here. it's the old systems are now dying out. Our body is a balance between just do hormones and just be hormones. Our father sun rises, our just do hormones naturally rise. Serotonin, melatonin, estrogen, testosterone. Sun teaches water to rise high. Many days I adore the push and pull, other days it tries to give me whiplash. God is the all, and the all needs balance, absolutely. Where are you from? I'm in England, in the UK. Where are you? Where are you from? Thanks for joining, and I hope if you've just joined, if you've just arrived, I hope you've subscribed to the channel, and I hope you've enjoyed your time here with me as well today, with this bit of painting, this little bit of chit chat, different things we've discussed and gone over. That's where we're at so far with my painting. Put a bit of wood grain in the background. So I'm quite happy with that. I'm pretty chuffed with that. Pakistan, welcome from Pakistan. Yeah. What do I do now? What do I do now? I need to get some more. I need to highlight those petals a little bit, get some more red out. Get that rose zinging. I need to get. So yeah, so I'll do a bit more red on that, I think. Bring the vibes out a little bit on it. Another word or phrase for that is release. What's to relinquish, to give up, control. Yeah. Are you Hebrew? No. It does feel like that, and I feel caught in the crossfire of new and old in both grand and personal ways. I should get back to work on something. See Ian and folks. Thank you, Alex. Thanks you for being here. I did get your message as well, so I will check that out when I come off the live, which is going to be any minute now, because I've been on for just over an hour. So I like to come on for a live for about an hour, do a bit, and then head off and let you guys get on with your day. But thank you for being here. I hope you've enjoyed this time together. I hope you've enjoyed the stream and the painting and the chit chat. And I hope you've subscribed and you've given me lots of likes. I've had lots of love, so thank you much for all of that. And I will see you again in another video very soon. I've got a video coming out tonight, which is a podcast that I did with Brenda Bauer, who I've had on the channel before. And we had a really, really good, deep, in-depth discussion. So please do check it out. It's coming out tonight at 8 p.m. UK time. So check it out. It'll be right here. And yeah, toodaloo for now. Take care. Much love.